Welcome my dear learners for this course on operations research. In our module 2 we were discussing about linear programming problems. So far I have explained you people how to solve problems using simplex method, big M or penalty method, artificial variable technique or two-phase method. Let us solve one more problem which is a different variety in big M method as well as in two-phase method, which has infeasible solution, which I have not explained so far. So let us solve this problem by using both the techniques, that is big M method as well as the two-phase method. The problem number 7 of our discussion on linear programming problems states that solve the following LPP by either big M method or two-phase method. Minimize z is equal to x1 minus 2x2 minus 3x3 subjected to the constraints minus 2x1 plus x2 plus 3x3 is equal to 2, 2x1 plus 3x2 plus 4x3 is equal to 1. As I already explained in our lecture 5, what are the variables to be added if we have less than or equal to, greater than or equal to constraints. If we have less than or equal to constraint, we should add slack variable. If we have greater than or equal to sign, we should subtract surplus variable, therefore we should add the artificial variable along with it. If we have equal to sign, we should add only artificial variable. Since the constraint has equal to signs, we should add artificial variable and solve. Let us solve this problem by using both big M method as well as two-phase method. Let me solve this problem by big M method first. So if I formulate the problem in its standard form, A for big M method as I said, we should always solve the problem for maximization. So therefore Z max, which is equal to minus Z, will become minus x1 plus 2x2 plus 3x3, and coming for the constraints, we have subjected to minus 2x1 plus x2 plus 3x3. Since we are equal to sign, I should add only artificial variable a1 is equal to 2. We know that in big M method the coefficient of artificial variable is minus m, the penalty, times the artificial variable a1. Coming for the second constraint, we have 2x1 plus 3x2 plus 4x3. Since we have equal to sign, I should add the artificial variable a2 is equal to 1. We know that the coefficient of artificial variable is minus m, so therefore it will become minus m a2. So this is the standard form. So satisfying the condition, all the variables are positive, x1, x2, x3, a1 and a2 are all positive variables. Similarly for case B, if I solve using two-phase method, for two-phase method, for phase 1 we have auxiliary LPP written as give coefficient as 0 for all the variables except for artificial variable. For artificial variable we should give the coefficient as minus 1. If I do that, I'll get the equation as 0x1 plus 0x2 plus 0x3 minus 1a1 minus 1a2. Now coming for the constraints remain same, that is minus 2x1 plus x2 plus 3x3 plus artificial variable a1 is equal to 2. 2x1 plus 3x2 plus 4x3 plus artificial variable a2 is equal to 1. Coming for the positive constraints, x1, x2, x3, a1, a2 are all positive. For phase 2, we should use the actual equation, that is Z max, which is equal to minus of Z, which will be equal to minus x1 plus 2x2 plus 3x3 plus 0 a1 plus 0 a2. So this I should use for phase 2, that is actual objective function. So this completes the representation of the given problem in its standard form for solving using Big M method as well as using two-phase method. Let us solve using Big M method. For Big M method, if I formulate the table will look like: for A, Big M method or penalty method, the first column represents the basic variable, second column is coefficient matrix CB, next we have XB. Coming for the variables x1, x2, x3, a1, a2, I should calculate the minimum ratio of xp by xk and perform the row operations. So this will be the heading for all the tables. As I said, the basic variables should be slack and artificial variables only. We have the artificial variables a1 and a2. And we know that z is equal to summation of CBXP. Above XB, I should write CI. The coefficients of CI are minus 1, plus 2, plus 3, minus Big M, minus Big M. Now, coming for the coefficients of A1 and A2, the coefficients are minus Big M, minus Big M. So coming for XP, XP is the RHS of linear equation, that is 2 and 1. Coming for the entering the matrix from linear equation 1, we have the values as minus 2, 1, 3, 1, 0. From second equation we have plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, 0 and 1. So now I should perform the operation delta I is equal to Zi minus Ci, where Zi is summation of Cb xb. So if I do summation of Cb xb here, I will get minus 2m minus m, which is nothing but minus 3m. If I do here, I will get minus of minus is plus 2m, minus of plus is minus 2m, it will get cancels, minus Ci is minus 1, minus of minus is plus, I will get the value as plus 1. If I do here, I will get 1 plus 3 is 4, minus 4m minus 2, minus 4m minus 2. If I do here, 3 plus 4 is 7, so therefore it is minus 7m minus 3. Minus m plus m will get cancelled, it will become 0. Minus m plus m will get cancelled, it will become 0. So we know that delta I is calculated by using the formula. Let us say if I do for delta x1, it will be summation of Cb x1 minus Ci, that is minus m into minus 2 plus minus m into plus 2 minus of minus 1, which is nothing but 0 plus 1, which is plus 1. So similarly I have done it for x2, x3, a1, a2. Now the most negative is this one, minus 7m plus 3. So therefore x3 is the incoming vector. Now take the minimum ratio of xp by xk, that is xp by x3. We have 2 by 3 and we have 1 by 4. Among these two, the minimum ratio is 1 by 4, which is 0.25. So therefore the outgoing vector is a2. You can represent that here also. Therefore the key element is 4. We have shown the outgoing vector as a2. So x3 is entering the matrix and a2 is leaving the matrix, and the key element is 4. I should make this key element as unity and make use of this key row for further calculations. So if I move for table 2, we have a1 is unaltered, x2 is moved out of the matrix and x3 is entered the matrix. And now the coefficient of a1 is minus m and the coefficient of x3 is 3. Let us consider this as row 1, row 2 and row 3. We should calculate the value of z, that is summation of CB XB, which I should calculate by row operation. First fix the key row, that is R2 double dash, which is equal to R2 dash, which is equal to R2 by 4. So if I do that, the key row will become 1 by 4, 1 by 2, 3 by 4, 1, 0, 1 by 4. Now I should make these two elements as 0. So therefore R1 dash is equal to R1 minus 3 times the key row, that is R2 dash. Coming for R3 dash, it is R3 plus 7m plus 3 times the R2 dash. Thereby I can make these two as zeros. Based on that I wrote the row operation. Now if I perform the row operation, we have 2 minus 3 by 4. So 2 minus 3 by 4 will give us the value as which is equal to 8 minus 3 by 4, which is 5 by 4. Here we have minus 2, here we have 1 by 2, so therefore it is minus 2 minus 3 by 2. So we'll get minus 4 minus 3 by 2, which is minus 7 by 2. Coming over here, we have 1, here we have 3 by 4. It is 1 minus 3 into 3 by 4. So 4 minus 9 by 4, it is minus 5 by 4. Here we have 3, here we have 1, it will become 0. So it is 1, 0 minus 3 by 4. This completes row 1 calculation. Coming for row 2 calculation, here we have minus 3m plus 7m plus 3 times the key row, that is 1 by 4. So minus 3m plus 7 by 4m plus 3 by 4, it will become minus 12 plus 7 is minus 5m by 4 plus 3 by 4. So minus 5m by 4 plus 3 by 4. The summation also shows the same thing. Minus 5m by 4 plus 3 by 4. Coming over here, we have 1. Here we have 1 by 2. So therefore 1 plus 7m plus 3 times 1 by 2, which is 1 plus 7 by 2m plus 3 by 2. 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 by 2. So therefore 7m plus 5 by 2. Coming over here, we have minus 4m minus 2 plus 7m plus 3. Key element is 3 by 4. So we'll get minus 4m plus 7 3 is 21 m by 4 minus 2 plus 9 by 4. So we'll get 4 4 is 16. 16 minus 16 plus 21 is plus 5 plus 5m by 4 minus 4 2 is 8. 8 plus minus 8 plus 9 is plus 1. So 5m plus 1 by 4. m plus 1 by 4. Coming over here, it will become 0. Here we have 0. Here also we have 0. It will become 0. Here we have 0, but here we have 1 by 4. So therefore it is 7m plus 3 by 4. So this completes the row 3 operations also. So if you clearly observe, all the values of delta I are greater than or equal to 0. Since all the values of delta I are greater than or equal to 0, the problem terminates. But since A1 is greater than or equal to 0, that is 5 by 4, the problem has infeasible solution. In the final matrix, when delta I is greater than or equal to 0, you should not have the value for artificial variable. Since artificial variable is greater than or equal to 0, the problem has infeasible solution. Either artificial variable should be equal to 0, but here in this problem the value of artificial variable is 5 by 4. Since the value of artificial variable is greater than 0, the problem has infeasible solution. Therefore, since delta I is greater than or equal to 0, problem terminates. And A1 is greater than 0, that is A1 is equal to 5 by 4. Therefore, the problem has infeasible solution. So this is the answer for the problem from Big M method. Let us verify whether you get the same infeasible solution answer by two-phase method. Moving on for two-phase method, for phase 1, we have basic variable and we have CB, XB, X1, for phase 1 we know that the auxiliary variables are x1, x2, x3 and artificial variables a1 and a2. So x1, x2, x3, a1, a2. But the value of Ci for this is 0 for x1, 0 for x2, 0 for x3 and minus 1 for a1 and minus 1 for a2, and we have minimum ratio xp by xk. So we have the artificial variables a1 and a2. We should find the value of z by taking summation of cb into xb, and the coefficients of a1 and a2 are minus 1 and minus 1. xp is the RHS of this equation where we have 2 and 1, and the coefficients from the set of linear equations are: for x1 we have minus 2, for x2 we have plus 1, for x3 it is 3, for a1 it is 1, for a2 it is 0. Coming for second set, it is 2, 3, 4, 0 and 1. Now we should calculate the value of delta I, which is equal to Zi minus Ci, and the minimum ratio and row operations. As we have already practiced in our lecture 5 and lecture 6, for phase 1 we should consider the auxiliary LPP, in which the coefficients of all the variables are 0 except for artificial variables. For artificial variables the coefficients are minus 1 and minus 1 in the objective function. Apart from that, rest of the things will remain same. So I copied down the same thing from the set of linear equations what I have, whereas in case of two-phase method the coefficients are minus 1 and minus 1, whereas for big M method the coefficients are minus m and minus m. Let us solve this problem by two-phase method. If I calculate the value of delta, that is delta is calculated from x1 to a2, summation of cb xp will give us the value as minus 3. Here we will get the value as minus 2 into minus 1 is plus 2, plus 2 minus 2 will become 0, 0 minus 0 is 0, 1 into minus 1 is minus 1, minus 3, minus 1 minus 3 is minus 4, minus 0 is minus 4. Here I will get minus 7, here I will get minus 1, plus 1 will become 0, minus 1 plus 1 will become 0. I calculate the value of delta I. From the usual procedure, that is summation of CB xi minus Ci. So now if you observe, minus 7 is the most negative, so therefore this will become the incoming vector, that is x3 is the incoming vector. Calculating the minimum ratio xp by xk, that is xb by x3. xp by x3 will give us 2 by 3 and 1 by 4. Since 1 by 4 is the least value, the outgoing vector is a2. Let us mark these rows as row 1, row 2, row 3. The headline I have retained the same, that is basic variable cb, xp, x1, x2, x3, a1, a2, minimum ratio, row operations. So therefore A2 will leave the matrix and x3 will enter the matrix. So therefore if I rewrite the table 2, we have A1 unaltered, A2 moves out and x3 comes in, and I should calculate the value of z, which is equal to summation of CBXB the coefficient of A1 is -1, x3 is 0. Now the key element is 4. Therefore I should take this as the key row. So therefore for us the key row is R2 double dash, which is equal to R2 by 4. If I do that, I will get the value as 1 by 4, 1 by 2, 3 by 4, 1. This is what I require. 0, 1 by 4. Now I should make these two values as 0. So therefore this is R1 dash. So R1 dash is equal to R1 minus 3 times the key row R2 dash. Here we have -7. So therefore R3 dash is equal to R3 plus 7 times the key row R2 dash. So if I perform the operation, we have 2 minus 3 by 4. 2 minus 3 by 4 is 8 minus 3 by 4. 8 minus 3 is 5. I'll get the answer as 5 by 4. Minus 2, 1 by 2. So minus 2 minus 3 by 2, it is minus 4 minus 7 by 2. Minus 4 minus 3 is minus 7 by 2. Here we have 1, here we have 3 by 4. So therefore 1 minus 9 by 4, it is 1 minus 9 by 4, in the sense 4 minus 9 by 4. 4 minus 9 is minus 5, minus 5 by 4. Here we have 3, here we have 1. So 3 minus 3 is 0, that is what I require. Here 1, here 0, therefore it will become 1. 0, 1 by 4 will become minus 3 by 4. Coming for the last row, we have minus 3 and 1 by 4. Minus 3 plus 7 by 4. Minus 3 plus 7 by 4, which gives us the value as minus 12 plus 7. Minus 12 plus 7 is minus 5 by 4. And the summation says the same thing. Coming over here, we have 0. The key element is 1 by 2. So therefore 0 plus 7 by 2 is 7 by 2. Coming over here, we have minus 4, 3 by 4. Minus 4 plus 7 into 3 by 4, that is minus 4 plus 21 by 4. So 4 4 is 16. Minus 16 plus 21. Minus 16 plus 21 is plus 5. So it is 5 by 4 plus 5 by 4. Here we have 7. It will become 0. Based on that only we have wrote the row operations. We have 0 here. Here also we have 0. It will become 0. Here I have 0, but here I have 1 by 4. So therefore it will become 0 plus 7 by 4 is 7 by 4. So we have done the row operation. This is nothing but delta I is equal to Zi minus Ci, which I have calculated using the row operation. If you clearly observe, all the values of delta are positive. That is 7 by 2, 5 by 4, 0, 0, 7 by 4. Since all the values of delta are positive, the problem terminates, but still we have one auxiliary function and Z max is less than 0. In our 5th lecture, I clearly explained the 3 conditions for two-phase method. Once we get the delta I greater than or equal to 0, the problem terminates for phase 1. At phase 1, we should have the value of Z max greater than or equal to 0. We should not have less than 0. Here we have less than 0. Apart from that, the auxiliary function is also present whose value is 5 by 4. Since Z max is less than 0, the problem has infeasible solution. So therefore, since for better clarification, you go back and verify lecture 5 once again and come back and solve this problem by two-phase technique. Since delta I values are greater than or equal to 0 and Z max is less than 0, also A1 is greater than 0, that is A1 is equal to 5 by 4, the problem has infeasible solution. So therefore, the problem has infeasible solution, that is, since the value of Z in the phase 1 last stage where delta I values are greater than 0 but Z max is less than 0, negative value, therefore the problem has infeasible solution. Whereas in case of big M method, in the final stage when delta I values are greater than or equal to 0, still you have the artificial variable and its value is greater than 0, then the problem will be having infeasible solution. I have clearly explained in our lecture 5 the 3 different cases of analysis of problem in two-phase technique. That is, when delta I is greater than or equal to 0, the case 1 is Z max should be, if Z max is less than 0, negative value, then the solution will be infeasible. If Z max is greater than 0 or equal to 0 and if we have one artificial variable, we can proceed to phase 2. If we have no artificial variable also, we can proceed to phase 2, provided Z max should be greater than or equal to 0. But in this problem, Z max is negative, therefore the solution is infeasible. So thereby we have solved a different variety of problem in which we have the infeasible solution for the given problem, which we have solved by both big M method and two-phase method. Thereby we are concluding the discussion on two-phase method and big M method. In our next lecture, we will be heading to discuss the dual simplex method. That's all from this lecture. Thank you.